me, Alan Hubbard, and the sign language interpreter this morning is Esther Kendi. And today is the 27th day of August. The year is 2025, and we are going to be keeping you up to speed with what is happening in the country. And we're going to be starting it off with the dailies. After the dailies, then we're going to be doing we're going to be starting it with the news that are making headlines in the country, then the dailies, then your sports roundup. And then after that, we're going to be having a conversation, and we're going to be talking about the legislative landscape of the persons with disabilities in the country and how it has progressed ever since. And of course, today we are celebrating the KatibaDay, so our guest also is going to be speaking in close proximity to the Constitution and other legislations around persons with disabilities. You can engage with us in these conversations by heading on to our social media platforms across all social media platforms. That is Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, X, LinkedIn, and TikTok, of course. Chief of the Order of the Golden Heart and President William Ruto has awarded the global leader of Ismail Muslims, His Highness Prince Rahim Al Husseini Aga Khan V, Kenya's highest national civilian honor, the Chief of the Order of the Golden Heart of Kenya, CGH. Now, the award is in recognition of Prince Aga Khan V's personal commitment and the Aga Khan Development Network's distinguished services to the people of Kenya over the years. Now, conferring the award at State House, Nairobi on Tuesday, President Ruto said this moment is both historic and symbolic. It affirms Kenya's deep appreciation of the enduring legacy of the Ismaili Imamate, whose service to humanity has long been a pillar of our national journey. Here are the full details to this story.
This recognition carries added significance for me because my late father was also named a Chief of the Order of the Golden Heart by President Kibaki during his Golden Jubilee. I therefore accept this great honor with deep humility and gratitude. It's a privilege to be here today among the leaders of a nation with which the Ismaili Imamate shares a long friendship, profound respect, and deepening partnership. Through the work of the Aga Khan Development Network, whether in health, education, culture, economic development, or the environment, our aim has always been to improve the quality of life for all, regardless of background or faith. We are proud that our programs and institutions serve millions of Kenyans from all walks of life across the spectrum of human endeavor. In Kenya, we have found a government and a society that have consistently welcomed these efforts and supported them with vision and resolve. The memoranda of understanding we are signing today build upon this rich legacy of engagement. They reflect the depth of the relationship between the Ismaili Imamate and the Republic of Kenya, and they signal a shared ambition to make that relationship even more impactful. Our goal is to work alongside the government as you tackle the emerging challenges of climate change, urban regeneration, and delivery of public services. Our approach will be to ensure that our programs are meaningfully aligned with Kenya's national priorities and the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. As in the past, we will continue to mobilize not only our own institutional capacity and resources, but also those of our international partners and investors for Kenya's benefit. Kenya has shown commendable leadership in confronting climate challenges. The Ismaili Imamate shares the sense of urgency and importance you attach to these threats. And I'm committed to ensuring that our institutions support your efforts to create new knowledge and new solutions for environmental stewardship. We see promising opportunities for collaboration in areas such as coastal regeneration and climate research, where our institutions are prepared to dedicate increased resources in pursuit of our shared goals.
Story now to I facilitated meeting between Ruto and Sudan's RSF leader Gachagua claims and the Democracy for the Citizens Party DCP excuse me, a DCP party leader Rigathi Gachagua has alleged that he facilitated a meeting between President William Ruto and General Mohammed Hamadan Dagalo, widely known as Hamedi, the leader of Sudan's Rapid Support Forces, during his tenure as the country's second in command. Now, during an interview on one of the TV stations, the TV stations in the country, Gachagua referenced an amendment bill tabled by U.S. Senator James Risch, which seeks to review Kenya's non-NATO ally status over concerns about the country's foreign relations and alleged links to extremist groups. Now, the former DP disclosed that the meeting took place at Ruto's request when Hamedi was serving as Sudan's deputy president, citing that a sitting head of state could not make such a plea. Now, according to Gachagua, President Ruto instructed him to sign the official letter inviting Hamedi and later asked him to oversee the visit. The former deputy president noted that while the meeting was official, the discussion largely revolved around a trade. Here are the full details to the story, among other explosive revelations by the former deputy president. Watch.
A trade where that Rigathi Gachagua is always attacked by goons, so that one day police in civilian can shoot him dead, and then say the goons, and then order an investigation to arrest the goons when he is dead. What I want to tell them is, and I want to be very cautious, I want to say, it's important I say, because I have seen the trend of what is happening. I want to tell William Ruto and Kipchumba Murkomen, please, don't ban this country. This is our country, we have no other.
Okay.
Let us be careful. Don't do. I cannot report William Ruto to the police because they are under him. I cannot report the police to themselves. I cannot report Murkomen to the DCI because he is under him. So, in the situation that I face with my members, I can only report them to the people of Kenya. You know, sometimes I hear Ruto saying, "Oh, go and write a statement." We write a statement to who? How can you go to report William Ruto to the police? How can you go to report Kipchumba Murkomen to the police? You can only, what I can do in my position is just tell the people of Kenya what is happening. By saying shooting the leg, they are just pretending that they are independent. They are not. That guy called Douglas Kaja, he is from my home. And I told him the other day, you are a potential customer of ICC. Remember what happened to General Ali. William Ruto and Kipchumba Murkomen will use you. What is happening? I told him, Kaja, he's from my village. One of these days, you'll be in ICC. I want to tell these county commanders in Nairobi and elsewhere.
Now to President William Ruto appoints panel of experts to oversee compensation of protest victims. And President William Ruto has appointed a panel of 18 experts to facilitate compensation of victims of demonstrations and protests dating back to 2017. The panel gazetted on August 25th shall be chaired by Professor Makau Mutua, who is Ruto's senior advisor on constitutional affairs and human rights. The panel, with Faith Odhiambo, many as its vice chairperson, is expected to effect the implementation of the August 8 proclamation by Ruto, where he announced a framework to compensate protest victims. And members of the task force include Kennedy N. Ogeto, Irungu Houghton, John Olukuru, Reverend Kennedy Maranza Simiyu, Linda Musumba, Duncan Ojwang, Naimi Lankas, Francis Muraya, Juliet Chepkemei, Pius Meto, Patuma Kinsey, Abbas, and Raphael Ampiu. Here are the full details to the story. And away from that, now to Maraga calls for EACC investigation into SHA fraud claims. And former Chief Justice David Maraga now says there are deliberate attempts to cover up loss of millions disbursed to ghost health facilities by the Social Health Authority. And the former Chief Justice David Maraga says there are deliberate attempts on the cover-up of loss of the millions. Now, addressing the press on Wednesday, Maraga noted that on Monday, the Kenya Master Health Facility Registry portal was pulled down in deliberate attempts to cover up the alleged fraud in SHA. Now, the former Chief Justice now wants the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission to investigate the loss of funds through medical claims and payments. Here are the full details to that story.
Upon EACC to carry out investigations and prosecute all those involved. Monies lost must be recovered and those responsible must be prosecuted and not protected. Those who have colluded to defraud Kenyans must also face the full force of the law.
Well, from that now to SHA CEO Mercy Mwangangi suspends 45 health facilities, and the Social Health Authority has suspended 45 health facilities for defrauding the health system, bringing the total to 85, where 40 were flagged earlier this month. In a special issue of the Gazette notice on Tuesday, SHA's Chief Executive Officer Mercy Mwangangi listed the health facilities ranging from different counties and their registration numbers. Among the hospitals flagged include Novik Medical Center, Nairobi, Equity Afya, Homa Bay, Equity Afya, Mandera, Guardian Hospital, Meru, Kimathi Medical Services, Kirinyaga, and Lemek Hospital Limited, Kisii. And others are Namanga Nursing Home, Kajiado, Neo Care Memorial Hospital, Migori, New Hope Nursing Home, Kisii, Palm Care, Sinai Hospital, Uasin Gishu, Tranquil Hospital, Kakamega, North Gate Hospital Limited, Garissa, and Okita Nursing Homa Bay. Here are the full details to this story.
Since I took office on April 1st, 2025, we have intensified the fight. The primary function of our digital system is to detect fraud. We have seen that facilities are looking for innovative ways to cheat the system, but our digital architecture is designed to detect and flag anomalies at every stage of the claim process. 8 facilities in Mandera, 312 patients, we have the names of those patients, went through 8 facilities in one town in one day, and making the claims to Social Health Authority. Nabwala Hospital in Bungoma falsified claims for multiple cesarean section on the same patient within days and supported maternity claims. In Kotiende Medical Center in Homa Bay, fabricated clinical documents with a single person signing off for both day and night shifts over consecutive days, which to us is humanly impossible. To all our health providers, consider this a final warning. Organizations have no contractual obligation with the Social Health Authority. That is not provided in the Social Health Authority Act. For example, Nairobi Hospital, Aga Khan, Kenyatta National Hospital, Kenyatta University, any facility, both public, private, faith-based, have individually contracts with the Social Health Authority. So this is a final warning that we are watching. Any facility, any doctor, or any patient to be involved in fraudulent activities will be held liable and will face the full force of the law.
That's what's making headlines in the country. We're watching Science Breakfast with me, Alan Hubbard, and the sign language interpreter is Esther Kendi. Now, these are the stories that are making headlines in the dailies, and we started off with the Daily Nation. 15 years of promise and hope. And in 2010, Kenyans adopted a new constitution after its overwhelming approval in a referendum, bringing to an end a 2-decade-long struggle for reforms. While progress is evident today, challenges persist. And these challenges have been documented on pages 4, 5, 6, and 7. Another story here is Kenya gives top honors to His Highness the Aga Khan Fifth, and His Highness Prince Rahim Aga Khan Fifth, the spiritual leader of the Shain Ismail Muslims, has received Kenya's highest civilian honor in recognition of his commitment to the service of Kenyans and humanity at large. President William Ruto conferred this to him yesterday at State House. And the story about the Constitution at 15 has been broken down further, and they have given you hits. Some of the hits include devolution. Counties have collectively received 3.6 trillion since 2013 to fund development at the grassroots. There is public participation. The voice of citizens is increasingly central to laws and policies, with sanctions for violations. There is judicial independence, judiciary revoking illegal actions by the executive and agencies, including 2017 annulment of presidential election. There is also Bill of Rights, landmark cases on housing, labor, gender, and association, promoting freedoms for ordinary Kenyans. Some of the misses include state repression, brutal government crackdowns to silence critics, including extrajudicial killings and abductions after youth uprising. There is a compromised parliament, House branded an executive lapdog for passing oppressive laws and punitive taxes. Of course, corruption is not forgotten, or isn't off of the list. A grand theft of public resources and failure to punish law looters, and of course defiance of court orders, officials disregarding court decrees, leading to breakdown of rule of law. That is a summation of what the Daily Nation thinks captures the 15 years of the Constitution. Now, in health, a Tanzanian discharged from Kenyan hospital after lonely 17 years. Why? Now, Selina Paul was admitted to Nakuru Teaching and Referral Hospital in 2008. Then, aged 36 years, she walked out of the facility as a 53-year-old on Tuesday when hospital officials finally traced her family. It was a tearful reunion with her relatives who had traveled from the neighboring country. That is a story that you read extensively on page 16 of The Nation. Nairobi MCA's plot to impeach Sakaja and deputy. Why is that? You will grab yourself a copy of The Nation to get to read about that story on page 10. And how school heads are hurting free education with illegal levies. That is a story that you'll find on page 12 of The Nation, even as schools continue to reopen across the country. From the Nation now to the Standard. Scandal is a headlining story in the Standard this morning, as Kenyans struggle to put food on the table amid the escalating cost of living. The Ruto administration has, behind closed doors, struck a deal to spend hundreds of millions of shillings in taxpayers' funds, not on necessities but on polishing its battered image in Washington, D.C. Now, this comes just moments after a Republican senator tabled a motion before Congress to reassess Kenya's standing, citing links to Sudan's warlords and a brutal domestic record marked by abductions and killings. Now, the Ruto presidency appears intent on saving face. That is a story that you found on page 4 of the Standard this morning. The president is pictured worried with a worried face, and of course the senator who moved the motion in the U.S. Senate is also pictured in The Nation this morning, but also in the Standard, this morning. But also they are excerpts, basically receipts on how Kenya is trying to save face in Washington. And Foreign Affairs Principal Secretary Korir Singoway, it seems as if he is the man doing the job to see how Kenya can save face. It's going to be partly cloudy with highs of 27 degrees and lows of 15 degrees. And away from Murang'a now to Kisumu, it is going to be partly cloudy with highs of 28 degrees and lows of 18 degrees. And in Mombasa, it is going to be partly cloudy with highs of 29 degrees and lows of 22 degrees. And in Nairobi, it is going to be mostly sunny with highs of 25 degrees and lows of 14 degrees. Now, away from the weather, now to your morning quote. I have the simplest tests. I am always satisfied with the best. Oscar Wilde. Wilde is the author of that quote. I have the simplest tests and I am always satisfied with the best. Oscar Wilde is the author of that quote. And that sums up the breakfast show this morning. Let us see you tomorrow as we keep you up to speed with what is happening in the country. Good morning.